It is just, I would say, a perfect storm of housing crisis.
I say, what does homeless look like? I say, what does it look like? I don't wish this on nobody.
I'm still only one paycheck, or maybe a half a paycheck, away from, being in the same situation. Be careful what you say, because life happens.
And I just feel like I failed everyone, including myself.
So right now, what would you say is the #1 thing that's keeping you on the streets?
People not taking my voucher.
We gotta do better.
It's hard. It's hard out here, and people don't understand. They don't.
We're at a point where it's time to understand. Affordable housing, a local news headline, a talking point used endlessly by politicians. But what does it mean? The thousands of you who call Charlotte home are a part of one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. More people means more need for housing, but can you afford that rental apartment? Can you afford that first-time home? Can you afford that basic human right, a place to call home?
My rent went up about $200 a month.
I really don't know if we're going to be able to afford the next year when we have to re-up our lease.
I'm pretty close to the limit now.
This past February, a Redfin study made local news headlines.
Prices are on the rise again in Charlotte, really all across the country. A report from Redfin shows national rent prices increased by 14%.
Renters saw an 11.5% increase. So if you were shelling out $1,500 a month for rent a year ago, you now would have to pay closer to $1,700 a month. For homebuyers, mortgage costs are hitting wallets even harder. A jump like that could make all the difference when a health emergency pops up, when a job is in jeopardy, really when the unexpected happens. You may think you could never end up homeless, but so did some of the people you're about to meet.
Tell me where we are.
That's a really good question. Life happens, and like myself, one thing happened. I had a surgery to have a better quality of life, not ever knowing that it was going to end up into a snowball effect that caused me to be homeless. My goal was 2007 to have a better quality of life. I was extremely obese, near 400 pounds. I had gastric surgery, not ever thinking that I would have any complications. I worked for a medical practice at that time, and I was affecting their bottom line. So they let me go. I had nowhere to go. I sat on the bed and I said to God, I cannot believe you have me here with these homeless people. And the nerve of me to say that, but God said back to me, you one of these homeless people. Even now, I walk around here and I'm in awe. I'm like, oh my God, this is my space. Nobody can tell me that I have to leave.
You're in this brand new place.
Yes.
But is it always in the back of your mind, okay, am I going to be able to keep this place?
Absolutely. Right now, I'm stressing because, like I told you, I had COVID last month. I was out of work for over 10 days, and that means that no pay, I wasn't getting paid for that. So right now, I'm like, oh God, how am I going to put the pieces together to be able to pay September's rent and do all the necessary other things that I need to do.
Your rent went up $25.
It did.
Maybe
yes.
some people watch and be like, $25, what's that? But that for so many people,
that's a huge difference. For me, that's a big difference.
So how exactly did we get here? Charlotte, a city built on banking and prosperity, and yet 55,000 people living here still struggle to find an affordable place to live.
You have all of these folks who are looking for housing, not just folks at the affordable rate, and we just can't keep up.
So how do we fix it? Years and years of talking points have been thrown on the table. The city of Charlotte is re-examining the way they regulate zoning and development through the Unified Development Ordinance.
Council met tonight, and important to note, they decided on some major changes when it comes to the future of Charlotte.
Another new effort passed earlier this summer will require developers who accept public funds to take housing vouchers.
Now, Charlotte City Council members are discussing a measure that would prevent some landlords from discriminating against potential tenants based on their income source.
And for the first time since 1975, Charlotte has launched a new comprehensive blueprint for growth with the 2040 plan. But is all of this enough to make an impact?
Charlotte is growing in leaps and bounds. I want our city to be affordable, right? I want everyone who wants to live, work, and play to be able to do it in Charlotte. I don't want to send people to Gastonia or Kannapolis or Concord. I came to Charlotte in 1981 as a freshman at Johnson C. Smith, graduated in 1985, and obviously there was no streetcar, there was no 5-point plaza park like this. And over 121 individuals every day move to the city of Charlotte. All are looking for jobs and affordable housing.
Who is getting left behind?
I mean, working families. I mean, if you are a family right now, working 40 hours a week, minimum wage, you probably can't even find a one-bedroom here in Charlotte. We're talking about, in some cases, teachers. We're talking about the individual that maybe if you went to the movies and took your tickets. And I think that's somewhat of the stereotype that hasn't been here, is that it's always been this picture of people that really weren't working.
We are facing some of the same problems that major cities throughout the country have.
Are you all doing enough?
We can do more. I think everyone can do more.
At last count here, there are over 2,400 people here in Charlotte who are homeless. Some, like the woman you're about to meet, hide their struggles well. You might look at her and never even know.
It was embarrassing to hear people say, I saw you come out the woods. You didn't see me come out the woods, but really you did. And what? Then you hear people say, why you always got a backpack on? Why? What business is it of yours?
Okay, Debbie, tell me what we're doing tonight.
Well, I'm going to find me somewhere safe to sleep, out of view. So that's basically my agenda.
Do you ever get to stay in the same place, or is it?
Sometimes it's just different. It's just I might be 2 days here, 3 days there. It just depends. It went from verbal to mental to you literally physically putting your hands on me, pulling a gun out on me, putting it to my head and pulling the trigger. And that's what led me really to the streets. Don't stereotype me. I try not to look the way that y'all used to people looking. Trust me, I've looked that way. I've had on clothes 3 or 4 days.
And how do you keep going?
Trust me, I'd be ready to give up on lots. It's tiring. I don't have that 3 times the rent you want.
Realistically, do you think anything's going to change?
Not really. The only thing I feel like is gonna change is I'm gonna have to go get me a tent. Go find me somewhere that they hadn't taken over a building and putting people out. Just find me somewhere and hide away. You get tired of hearing people say, oh, your turn coming. When? That's all I want to know, when. If I have to walk all night, I will. I've done it plenty of times before. And just walk myself to the bus stop and go to work.
And then you go to, what time are you going to get up for work in the morning?
My alarm is already set. It's always set for 4:30, 5 o'clock. I just look. I just look for somewhere that I can sit, somewhere I could hide, where it's an empty chair, anything. But this right here, it's a tough road. I wouldn't wish this on nobody. Nobody. So no matter how people look at me, I'm still a human being. Whether you understand my circumstances or not, please don't judge me. It's hard out here, and people don't understand. They don't.
So it's 10 o'clock. We just left Debbie. She's set up behind a strip mall. She has to be up at 4:30 a.m. for work. I've been doing this 11 years. Not a lot phases me as a reporter, and that was heavy. To leave someone there and know that we get to go home and sleep in a bed, and she has to stay behind a strip mall next to a dumpster. It's hard to reconcile how that's fair. But we'll see her in the morning.
I'm catching the bus, going downtown, go to work.
Did you sleep at all last night?
Not really. Not really. Like I said, it was a little creepy, so I left.
How much would you say you slept?
I say about 2 hours.
And you got to work till 4?
4:30. Oh Lord, I'm coming.
Yeah, and you're gonna need this transfer.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Orientation. It's my journey for the morning. I may miss it. I might go with it. This is why I sit down. And I do what I do because I love to clean. That's my passion. You might say, oh, she's a janitor, she's a maid, she's a custodian. Guess what? I'm the best cleaner you ever, the best. This is my life, Sarah. This is my life. The hurt on the inside is what I will never wish on anybody. The loneliness, I wouldn't wish that on nobody either. Welcome to Rooms to Go Outlet. I'm Debbie.
And you love it.
And I love what I do.
One potential solution for Debbie is an emergency housing voucher. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development provides 70,000 of these vouchers across the United States to local cities, including right here in Charlotte. Right now, more than 170 emergency housing vouchers have been awarded to people who are at risk of homelessness or housing instability. 24 of those vouchers are currently in use.
It's taken people about 90 days to find a place to live, right? So supply is always an issue.
That's different than Charlotte's Section 8 program known as the Housing Choice Voucher Program, also funded by HUD. It targets low-income families, but those families can't apply for these vouchers right now in Charlotte. Applications only open every several years because so many families apply.
The federal government gives us X number of vouchers. For us, it's roughly about 5,000, right? And that's it.
In Libyan, Charlotte's housing authority tells us sometimes as long as an 8-year wait isn't uncommon.
In 2014, we had 31,000 people on our wait list. Now it's about 5,500. About 1 in 4 people that actually need the Housing Choice Voucher can get it.
The market is currently so oversaturated that landlords simply don't have to take them.
We're at 85 in Brookshire. Honestly, I just really like this spot because I like people, and there's so many people I get to interact with being in this spot. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. So this is organized chaos. Yeah, and yet I am at ease, and you know, I guess I'm used to turbulence. And me wake up. I left a note on my mom's steering wheel that told her that I was trans, because I knew she'd get it. Like, for sure, you gotta drive your car, right? So yeah, she didn't say anything.
She never said anything?
No. It's hot, y'all. Hope y'all got some water. Growing up the way I did, everyone was always like, oh, you're so super intelligent. You're gonna do great things. And I just feel like I failed everyone, including myself, because I thought I'd do more.
That's something that you think about every day?
Yeah.
So right now, what would you say is the number one thing that's keeping you on the streets?
People not taking my voucher.
We'll be able to see if we can house this client.
Speaking with the case managers, any updates from the property managers, searching for housing.
In your eyes, what is the likelihood of Tanu or someone like him finding a place to live in Charlotte?
Property managers are looking for people that have maintained housing before or maintaining a good income. We do like to speak to our landlords and be very upfront with them, letting them know if this client has any barriers, if they have any mental health problems.
It's all the bureaucracy, I would say, of the Housing Choice Voucher Program that tends to be a turnoff for that rental housing provider.
Due to a stigma back in the day, they're like, let's shy away from it. But not every individual that carry a voucher is a part of that stigma that's been created.
I try to allow myself to feel like whatever it is that I'm feeling. Yeah. And sometimes it puts me in a hole. And sometimes it's like, well, I gotta do something now. Like, let me try something else.
It's easy to watch these stories and feel overwhelmed. We question if there's anything we can actually do to move the needle, but there are success stories, and the one we're about to leave you with shows what can happen when Charlotte comes together.
Better follow me, come on. I think I was born in cold. Right there, what's it? Yeah. Please, no call, please. Really? Try it. It's about survival.
Here, put your initials in every box.
William Ernest Howard. I'm jiggling. Jiggling, baby. Got my key. Wow. I got lots of words right now. I'm trying not to cry. Yeah. I ain't gonna do it.
Housing issues in Charlotte can feel really overwhelming. It can feel like, you want to give up sometimes. But if Mr. Howard won't give up, then we can't give up.
That's a cook pack right there.
My career being a case manager, that was probably the most rewarding moment I've seen.
I'm not a quitter. That was never in the cards.